Hello everyone, welcome to the class of cloud computing. Today we are going to discuss about our unit 1 first topic. It is regarding the cloud computing working models. So, in the previous lecture we have seen what are the different working models available in the cloud. So, it is serving in the form of the service models and the deployment models. Now, let us have the brief overview of introduction of this particular concept. So, before getting about the working models, here I want to introduce a small discussion regarding the data centers. As we all know, the people who are migrating in the recent days from the manufacturing process to the service oriented process, because the cloud is providing its service or it is providing its benefit to the users in providing the service or to satisfy by adopting the real time and the technological business new paradigms. Okay. The cloud is providing the service to the user in order to serve with the help of remote access to the servers, because where we are using this servers, the concept of servers at the data centers. So, the data center is a pool of repository to store huge volume of the storage in the form of servers and the clients. So, what we can see in the previous scenario, in order to maintain and monitor the data center would be a highly risky task, because the data efficiency would be less, but to purchase the particular storage or the server storage would cost a major role here. Okay. So, it provides the less efficiency and increase the cost in order to maintain the particular data center or the data server. But when we migrated from the conventional approach to the cloud scenario, here it is performing everything with the help of the virtualization. So, what it seems, it directly implies by increasing the efficiency of the particular service and reducing the cost for the maintenance of the data center. So, why we are discussing the word data center? Because the cloud is providing the service to the user in order to store, access and process the huge volume of data in a digital era. Okay. So, in order to perform all those, here it is providing its service by using the virtual resources utilization to the users all over the globe. So, here it is providing the virtual resources over the automated hardware, the database, the user interfaces and application environments which are running on top of the operating system. Now, let us see a simple structure of the data center networking architecture, where it is the main core of the cloud, where here the server clouds are acting as the cluster nodes which are mainly used in order to perform the compute nodes. Next, here the gateway nodes are used, which are used to provide the access points of the concerned service from the outside world. So, why we are showing this network architecture of a data center? Because while we are accessing our resources which are available in the physical hardware on top of the software resources, we are having initially the physical hardware host machine. On top of that, the virtualization layer is a smooth and soft thin layer available in order to have the access of the virtual resources to have the different application running on top of it. So, in order to perform this, we can see a layered scenario available here, where the initial layer is having number of clusters or the users or servers in order to access the individual servers. Here these numbers verifies the servers, set of servers. Here A denotes the number of servers which are having the association and interlinked to the switches available by the on top of the servers. Here S means the switches. Why we make use of switches in the network? In order to have or connect different nodes, the server nodes or the compute nodes, in order to have the broad level, the load balancer. Here we can see LB as the load balancer. So, what it is doing? Whatever the requests or the data being transiting from the upper layers to the lower layers, we can see the load balancer is balancing and monitoring the fluctuations happening from the lower layers to the upper layer. So, the downmost layer or the layer 1 consists of group of compute nodes. On top of it at layer 2, these servers are being associated to have the communication with the switches, where all the switches were being load balanced by the load balancer in order to have proper communication to the next layer where the data center is being maintained. So, what it is doing here? The access routers plays a vital role in order to have the broader router communication, because here the server cannot have a direct communication to the router, access router. So, what it is doing? Every server is having communication to the switch. So, in turn this switch is having the upper layer communication to the access router, and these routers providing service using the border router, because in order to have the transaction from the internet, here the data center is lending the request or the help from the border routers to access the internet. So, this is the simple approach of the cloud, how the cloud is balancing different servers and the compute nodes here. So, what it is doing on top of the internet, where the internet is being placed on the top, on below that we can see the border routers, where number of access routers are being placed in order to have the communication between the switches and the servers available. So, this is the simple scenario of the data center networking structure, where it is being balancing different users all over the cloud. So, next we can see what are the cloud service models available here. So, simply we can tell that the service models are the reference models. Okay? The cloud service models are the reference models on which the cloud is directly based upon, because here the cloud is providing the service to the users on an on-demand delivery approach. Everything is performed on the basis of pay-per-use approach, because the cloud is providing its service to the user in a digital era. So, everything is all over the globe performed along with the internet. Next, here based on this scenario, the service models are categorized into three ways. One can be the infrastructure as a service, the platform as a service, and the software as a service. In our previous lecture, I have given the brief introduction of these scenarios. So, where IaaS can be made and utilized by the network architects, and PaaS or the platform as a service can be utilized by the application developers, and the last software as a service can be developed and maintained by the end user. Now, let us discuss each and every service one by one. So, first one is the infrastructure as a service. So, what we can see, it is also known as the hardware as a service. So, what the cloud is providing exactly to the user? Here we are not utilizing any infrastructure. So, we are not maintaining or monitoring any infrastructure. So, to perform different scenarios, it allows the users to use all the virtualized resources. Here virtualized hardware resources could be your CPU, the memory, the network interfaces, and the storage servers. So, what it can be for computing, storing and networking these resources, it does not require to maintain any infrastructure differently. Okay? Nothing is required here. So, it only the main scenario is to lend. Here the main scenario is to rent the cloud. The cloud is providing the service in the rented cloud. Okay? It is providing its service to the user in the form of rented cloud by having the virtualized IT resources. So, in this picture we can see that IaaS is providing the service in the form of to compute, to store, to network balancing and the load balancer. So, before going into the platform development, the basic thing is the infrastructure, because every organization or a company cannot buy or purchase the infrastructure for each and every application. So, in order to perform it well, the cloud is supporting its infrastructure with the service provider. Our second level of the service could be the platform as a service. So, here we can see list out some of the infrastructure as a service providers available in the market. So, it could be the Amazon Web Services, it could be the NetMagic, the Rackspace, Reliance Communications available, the Stiffy Technologies and the Tata Communications. These are some of the list of infrastructure as a service providers available in the market. Now, the platform as a service. So, for the user or organization want to perform different programming. So, it is impossible to maintain different programming platforms by the users. So, what it is doing? In order to develop, deploy and manage the applications. So, to run different applications using different platforms, it is very impossible to monitor and maintain. So, what it is doing here? To develop and monitor the different applications, it is providing the resources to the user. So, it is able to need by the users in an integrated system consisting to the platform. So, here we can see it is providing using the programming languages in different application frameworks, the database and different tools. Because for example, consider scenario where we are having a laptop on which the host system we are running Windows operating system. Okay. So, now I want to run my Hadoop libraries on top of it, but it is impossible to run on the Windows operating system. So, what I am doing? I am installing the VMware workstation where I could run the virtualized operating system known as Ubuntu. On top of it, I am running the application of the Hadoop libraries. Okay. So, here I am satisfying both the scenarios of the host operating system and the virtualized operating system. So, who are the real-time platform service providers available? They can be the Google App Engine, the Salesforce services, the Windows like Microsoft Windows Azure, the AppFog, OpenShift and the Cloud Foundry from the VMware workstation. Now, our last service model is the software as a service. It is mainly refers to the browser initiated application, because in order to run different applications, we require different softwares to be lended. By maintaining and monitoring different softwares by the storage and servers would be a difficult task. So, cloud is providing its service by providing thousands of users in a cloud customer scenario. So, here the customer need to invest and provider can keep the cost low. What could be there? No need to invest any amount of purchasing the particular software. The only thing is that customer lend the software from the service provider based on the requirement. So, here we can see the SaaS, it is providing the service for the business services in order to have proper document management, the social networks and the mail services. Okay. So, who are the real-time software service providers available? Can be the Microsoft Office 365, the Google Apps, the GoToMeetings, the Salesforce, the Workday, the NetSuite and the Oracle, the customer relationship management. Okay. So, with this we have completed the cloud service model, and the next topic here is regarding the deployment models available in the cloud. So, what is meant by the deployment models? Deployment models are the type of access the cloud is providing the service to the user. So, here deployments can be categorized into again the three ways. One can be the public cloud, the next one be the private cloud and the third one can be the combination of both public and private. So, here simply we can call it as the public, the private and the hybrid cloud, which satisfies both the characteristics of the public as well as the private scenario. Okay. Next, let us discuss about each type of the cloud in simple. So, what is meant by public cloud? Public in the name sense, it is owned by the service provider. Here every user can lend it and use it based on their requirement, because everything is done and built over the internet and it is offered to the user on an approach of pay per use approach. Okay. So, all the providers offers the service in order to create and manage the VMware workstations in order to have the users within their own infrastructure. So, here we can see the simple diagrammatic representation of the public cloud can be accessed without any security issues. And the next scenario could be the private cloud. So, private cloud is built within the domain of the intranet. What is meant by intranet? It is the private network connectivity. When we doesn't want to share our resources to the other organizations which are provided by the cloud, the private cloud takes place. it is limited to the particular organization where it is a client owned and managed scenario where the access is being given to the limited number of clients available. Okay? In this private cloud, the access is given to the limited persons available. So, in this scenario, we can see the private cloud is given to the single organization with full security. Here, only the peer-to-peer transaction or end-to-end delivery of data would be seen here in this scenario. And our next approach is the hybrid cloud. What is meant by hybrid cloud? It is built with both the concept or combination of internet and intranet usage, or simply it is a combination of the public and private cloud, where the private cloud can also be support a hybrid cloud by enhancing the local infrastructure with the computing capability of this public external cloud, where it is satisfying both the scenarios. Here we can see the private cloud being accessed by both the public cloud. Here the users may access with the help of without any security issues, it is being accessed with the security issues. The hybrid can be satisfied both the public and private scenario. For sake of your clear-cut understanding, I am showing a real-time example of the three scenarios like the public cloud, the private cloud and the hybrid cloud. So, on seeing this picture, what the impression you get? So, all these three are discussing regarding the transportation, the mode of transport. So, here we can see in public cloud we can see the bus as a mode of transport. Coming to the private cloud, we can see a own car or a two-wheeler vehicle. When we are discussing about the hybrid cloud, it is a combination of both public and private. So, we can call it as a taxi. So, here in this example we can see what is meant by public, it is being accessed by the anyone. So, in a RTC bus or any bus where we can see number of users are accessing at a time, where they want the request and the requirement they are purchasing, or they, for example, consider an RTC bus. So, it is starting from the source to the destination. So, based on the user's requirement, they board the bus and they get down and they pay according to their requirement only from source to the destination. So, here the platform is being shared by everyone commonly. When we go to the private cloud, we can see it is being lended or owned by the single person or a particular organization irrespective of the other persons available there, because they can lend their own private cloud based on their requirement. While we can see the third scenario here, it is a combination of the public transportation where it could be lent to the particular private persons or a single person's confidential usage. So, here we can see taxi, it satisfies both because it is rented in a private scenario by the public transportation. I think with the help of this example, you can get a clear-cut idea about the three deployment models available in the cloud. So, this is the diagrammatic representation available here in your textbook. Just have a glance where we can see the public cloud, the private cloud and the hybrid cloud. Here whatever things we have discussed, real-time service providers available can be seen here. So, here we can see the public cloud which is access to the internet, where the private cloud is access to the private cloud is accessed with the help of the intranet as per our discussion, and the hybrid cloud is satisfying both the public as well as the private scenarios. So, on top of it, to use the public or over the internet, we can see the typical public cloud which is having the service queues, the platform web service like application program interface and the data centers which plays a vital role in order to maintain the data repository. Okay? So, with this I will wind up with particular session. In the next class, we are going to discuss about the architectural design challenges or the different varieties of architectures available in the compute and storage cloud. Thank you.